do a little talk about suspension setup on how I do it on my trucks. This is just what I have noticed over the years, what works good, and we'll start with this truck. So I like to run a drooped setup where the suspension is fully compressed. Now, what that does for me is, one, like this truck, you can see the tires are way too big for the fenders. So I'm running it a droop setup. So now I can have my ride height about where I want it. The tires don't rub. Now, when I do suspension flex it, see it still has plenty of suspension flex. Yeah, I get a little bit of touch right there. And the front's pretty well good. I'm not too worried about a little bit of body rub. So that's the first cool thing with running a droop, is you can set a ride height, run a bigger tire, and your truck doesn't look like it's all the way up to here because you're trying to get your suspension for not having your tires rub your fenders. Let me show you the next rig. So this is the next rig up. And I plan on converting all my rigs to droop suspension, but I finally found some springs, which I'll show at the end of the video, the 2 sets of springs that I bought. A lot of times you'll find that your springs won't, like on this truck, they're so light that they won't work, or what comes in these are just so stiff you can't get the rig to flex. I think I found a fix to that problem. So what you're going to find is, for me, the stock tires just don't do great. So I convert over to a better grabbing tire, insert your favorite brand here. Then you're going to find that your limitations are suspension. It almost forces you to have to do something with your suspension sometimes. So the droop setup works for me. You do a lot of hill climbing. As you can see, I set mine up to where it gives a little bit, but not a lot. But at the same time, it gives plenty for suspension flex. So in your hill climbs, you're going to start going up. And as you go up, your weight transfers onto the back, smashes the lower suspension down. Front suspension is trying to push away from the truck already. So as you're unloading the front, it's trying to push away, which creates all your weight going to the back of the rig. When you set up the suspension like this, you've already got a full compression in the back, so you're not having to worry about the suspension going down the back. The front axle, as your weight goes up and your traction goes up and it's trying to lift the front end, now it's like this front axle is trying to pull down the front end. So you're not having to wait for the total extension before you start getting some pull down. It's happening slowly as you're going up the hill. So those are some benefits I found. Some other benefits I found, I mean, if you got a cross, then you'll probably know what I'm talking about, where the suspension goes all the way up here and all, try to get that stuff out wider. Get your stability up on side hilling. And torque twist is another problem that sometimes has. And I have found in trial and error, when I had a tall rig and I was doing hill climbs with it, the suspension would smash down, so I tightened the suspension as much as I could. And then the next problem was that I'd get a tire coming off the ground, so I ended up putting a sway bar in the rear. Since I've been doing the droop setup like this, I don't have to worry about the sway bar anymore, and the rig seems to be more stable. And there again, you get a monster truck, and you want your tires to look right in there. You want to lower it down a little bit, get your center of gravity down. You got your good ride height. So I'm going to show you one other thing on that truck over there, and it's just some more food for thought on suspension setup. So now, this one's not droop setup yet, but I have a climb out on my course. It starts out like 45 degrees, and then it has a section that's just about this length that's 55, 60 degrees. When the suspension, as you can see, I've got the suspension moved back in the front, and in the rear I've got it moved back also. So when I put this in here and I move this back, that helped a lot with with it wanting to climb. It almost made the climb. So then step 2, I moved this suspension back a little bit further also, which made it be able to pull off the climb. It still does a little bit of torque twisting and stuff like that, but it does really well for me now. And there's not a lot of weight on this truck. As a matter of fact, it is all stock axles in the front and rear. So the only weight would be these wheels and this push guard. Other than that, even the battery sits in the middle, not in the front. And it just does excellent on the climb. So let's go find those springs, show you them. I'll tell you where I got them. Here we go. So I got 2 kits. I got them off Amazon. And this one of these 2, I can't remember which one. This one. So you can kind of see. And it'll say about how many pounds it takes for that spring to be compressed. So I can already tell you that I am running I'm running a soft spring in this one. I thought it was only like a pound. That's not enough. It needs to have more, so I'll probably jump it up to a 2-pound spring. But these will fit inside your axial shocks. You can use the axial shocks. Just take apart your shock, dump the oil out, get rid of the oil. Don't put the oil back. The oil, the only thing that the oil does for me is leak out. So there's no point in having it anyway. I'm really thinking that these are the springs I'm putting in it right now. There you go. Let you check that out. And it comes with all those different sizes. Sorry if I made you sick pulling it up to the camera real fast. But try to get it open. Try to get it open without shooting springs everywhere. Yeah, this one I haven't even got into yet. But they're a lot softer springs than what came. And as you can see, there's an assortment of a whole bunch. You got tiny ones if you want to do like a real soft short spring, and then maybe a stiffer spring after that. But I think that the kit to get would probably be this one. This one seems to have more on what I will be using in my rigs. So hopefully that helps out. Let me show you this number 2, in case that'll help you. And there's a chance that you're not going to use all these, but I don't think I paid that much for them. Let me get online and see if I can find out real quick what we paid for them. So here we are on Amazon. These are the springs that I got. Let's just blow this up, which, I mean, you've done already seen it. But. So this is the kit I got, and it seems to be pretty good for what I will use it for. Like I say, you may not use them all, but if you got a couple rigs and you want to tune the suspension a bit, then there you go. That would be a great benefit for you to be able to go in here and say, okay, I'm going to put a 1-pound spring in it and a 3-pound spring, whatever. Play with it however you will. So hopefully this helps you out on a little bit of suspension work. I know that there's a lot of videos out there on it, and sometimes they get a little confusing. I've just now found out about link risers, and I don't know how I feel about link risers right now. I don't feel like that they would give you any benefit because, I mean, your center of gravity still on your suspension. Yeah, you're going up this way, but I don't see how that can make the truck go down. Maybe if you put your links up here, maybe. But then still, I don't see it because it seems to me you'll just be putting leverage on that rear axle, wanting to make that rear axle twist around. And I don't know, I might be looking at it wrong. And I'm sure there's people out there that run it and say it's the greatest thing in the world. And it may be, but just in my thinking of it, it just doesn't seem like it would work right. But like I say, if it does work right for you and you like it, and I'm a retard, then hey, carry on. Enjoy. So if you have any questions about the suspension stuff, don't be afraid to ask. I'll try to help you out all I can. Everything I've learned has been trial and error down at the lake or here on my own course. Just seeing what the truck does when it climbs, because right now I guarantee this truck, with as soft as those springs are, it would at least it'd probably have some body roll and cause me problems. So it will definitely need some stiffer shocks. And this may end up being a rig that's so heavy that I will end up putting a sway bar in it. And I don't really want to do that, but at the same time, if it ends up, being a rig that I enjoy driving, which I'm sure it will be, I think that's all of them, then we'll just play it by ear. So thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, ask questions. Thanks for watching. Y'all are awesome. Have a great day.